Hello and welcome back to the ministry. And today we're talking about listen to your heart. Listen to your heart. A lot of the times you will hear, especially in the Christian world, that you should not listen to your heart because the heart and emotions are treacherous. This is true when it comes to emotional things because the enemy likes to twist your emotions to get you to do things that are out of the will and a desire of the Lord by luring you through emotions to become angry, to become rebellious, to do all of these things. But sometimes when I'm talking about listen to your heart, I'm talking about listen to your heart in relation to what has God showed you that He wants to do in your life? What has God shown you that the direction that He's desiring to take you in the world? What is it that He wants to do for you and through you? Sometimes we can be operating in disobedience to God because we're doing what seems right. When I first started my walk with the Lord, I had to learn how to break down the walls mentally and spiritually against the belief systems that told me societally what I should and should not be doing. I had to begin to go through my belief systems of the things that I was told all of my life that was the direction that I should be going, what I should be doing, the energy I should be putting towards this thing, the energy I should be putting towards that thing, what I should be aspiring for in relationship, what I should be aspiring for in this, that, and the other. You have to take an evaluation of these things and say, one, is this what I actually want? Or is this what everybody in my life has told me from the time I was this age that I should want because it's what is thought to be right societally and not following my heart's desire, which is what God's trying to do? And then you're wondering why is it not working? I'm chasing this job, but I can't seem to catch it. I'm chasing this relationship, I can't seem to catch it. I'm chasing this money, but I can't seem to get it. I'm chasing this. Are you chasing it because you want it, or are you chasing it because everybody tells you that that's what you should want and you should desire? What is listening to your heart? Taking the time to listen to your inner self and the God within you to find out, hey, what is God telling me that I should want in this situation and in this season that belongs to me, so that I can prosper and be operating in the right emotion, the right feeling, the right headspace, and not be wasting my time. I was listening to a ministry today, and the man was talking about how a lot of people are following a carnal form of Christianity where they are following what isn't the direction that they should be going, but what the church is saying that you should be doing. And when it counts the most, how many souls are you bringing into the Lord? How much are you doing for God's people? People were too busy focusing on putting together a church ministry that was more like a business that served their own pockets instead of serving the Lord's ideal and direction for their life. And you have to be so careful because God is sending His children out into certain industries, but you have to understand, how does God want to use you in those industries? And sometimes He's not saying, oh, I want to send you out in the gospel industry. Because everybody assumes that, oh, if you're going into music, you must be going into gospel because that's the only way that you can go, because of the fact that, do you understand that CRM movements and the gospel movements are two of the most corrupt levels of the music industry? Because there's an oppression there that, one, you cannot be real. You cannot be authentic with your story and the things that you go through. And then if you are authentic or you are struggling, there is no support system to support you. And even in church, depending on what kind of church you go to, you may have gone through a level of deliverance, but you're not receiving the supportive counseling to keep you within your deliverance and keep you in alignment with the Lord, so that you are walking in the fullness of what God is trying to get you to, that as you are elevating, that you're going to grow. As you're elevating, you're going to deal with warfare as you're elevating. So you have to understand that. And because you have to understand that, you may find that, so it's the understanding of the fact that you have to know. You have to understand during certain seasons, God's going to prune you. God's going to prep you. God's going to turn you. God's going to give you wisdom. And during those seasons, you're going to see the things that you've become accustomed to start to shift. The people, the places, the situations, and the scenarios. And when you're walking through these experiences, you have to be able to listen to your heart. Listen to my heart. Listen to the God within you. Even recently, I've been dealing with this, where a lot of the things around me have been shaken up. I talked about this a lot in the graduation word that I did. And I talked about how you have to understand that the world around you is going to get shaken up in a season of elevation, because there's things that need to be pruned off before you can go to the next level. People, situations, scenarios, past traumas, past things, past objects, things that you've been holding on to, all of these kinds of things, they gotta go. And all of this stuff is going to be coming up all at the same time. And you're going to be sitting there, wait, and I'm the type of person, and it comes with a level of maturity, that you are willing to listen, that when all of this stuff gets shaken up, you have the tendency to be like, forget it, God, I don't care, just take whatever you want to take, I don't care. And God's like, actually, that thing that you're battling with, keeping in your life, I want you to keep that thing. That's listening to your heart. When you want to release somebody and God says, no, I want you to keep that. When you want to release this situation and God said, no, I want you to hold on to that a little bit longer. When God's saying this and you're sitting there like, I'd let that go. If it means me dealing with all this shakiness, I don't need all that. And God's like, no, I need you to hold on to that, because that's something that's supposed to be here after the shaking finishes. That person's supposed to be here after the shaking finishes. Because what the enemy does is he starts to mess with relationships and mess with your stability and mess with your finances and all this kind of stuff. And you be looking at God like, okay, whatever. I know this is a season of shift. I know this is a season, whatever. You be sitting there frustrated because all this stuff getting messed with, and you in the corner talking about God. We've had our conversation. You know how I get when I get angry and frustrated. I'd rather come to you, Jesus. And God's like, I know. Sit still. Hold up. Stand still in the midst of that. Stand still and know that I am God. I know you're tired. Give it back unto me. I know you've done all that you can do. Watch what I can do. And it's like your heart, your emotions may tell you, release it, let it go. It ain't worth all that. But your heart's saying, no, hold on to it. Keep that. Because this is God saying, hey, hold on to that for a minute. And sometimes you got to double check yourself, because sometimes you can have a connection to something that God does want you to let go, and you have to check, the priority of that thing and say, hey, is this me wanting to hold on to this, or is this God wanting me to hold on to this? So you do have to check it, and you got to release it unto God and allow the Lord to say, give you the sign, the understanding, the recollection. For those of my ladies, hey y'all, the ones that have been standing for kingdom marriage, and you get so sick and tired of being sick and tired of that thing. Let's be real. And God's saying, yeah, I know you get sick and tired of getting sick and tired of that thing. I know. But I'm going to need for you to hold on. And it's like the second that you be like, I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired of that thing. And then God throw 15 reminders to say, yes, it's happening. And there's your husband's name. And there's your this. There's this. How do I know? It's happening to me. It's happening to me. It's happening to me. And right when you be ready to let it go, you be like, God, do whatever you want to do. He come when he ready to come, and blah, 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 blah. And God's like, there's his name popped up 15 times because now he's thinking about you. And he's sending you all his love. And then you're like, send the guy or leave me alone about it. And God's like, stand still, know that I am God. And you're like, I know. Are you getting 15 words about you're about to be financially stable, you're about to be wealthy, the wealth transfer is coming, the finances are coming, the this is coming, the abundance of blessings is coming. And you're like, I know, it's coming. It ain't got here yet, but it's coming, ain't it? And God's like, stand still and know that I'm God. The heart wants what the heart wants. God knows the desires of your heart. And he will give them to you. But he's also got to prepare you for the thing in which you're desiring. He's got to prepare you to walk in the obedience of having that thing. He's got to prepare you to be able to sit in the peace of knowing that you have that thing. You have to be willing to trust God in it. You have to be willing to know that God's in the midst of it even when you don't understand it. You have to know that God knows your heart and he knows why he told you to wait for that thing. I was just listening to Stephanie P a few minutes ago, and she was talking about how it's over. And a lot of us kind of get in that disgruntled mode where we like, yeah, every season we come to this place where you say it's over. I just end up in a new season, but I still ain't gotten to where I was supposed to go. What do you mean it's over? Is it over or is it over? Is it really over or is it over? And then we're sitting there like, okay. And then there's that other side of the situation. It's like, okay, if it is over and now we're about to cross over into that thing, I've been warned 15 times that when I get to that thing, it's just going to be tougher people, tougher demons, new levels, new devils, new levels, new language, new levels. Now I got to carry myself in a completely different way. And I got to struggle to maintain. And God's trying to say, you're not going to have to struggle in this. I'm going to send you the right people. It's like, we still waiting. And it's that you got to listen to your heart because God's trying to give you peace in those moments when you are in that level of frustration, in that level where things don't look like they're coming and God's telling you, remember in my word when they had been toiling and I told them to toil all night, dig the trenches. It's not going to be no wind. It's not going to be no rain. How many of y'all have been in this? How long have y'all been sitting in this waiting for your promises to come and you ain't seen nothing? But oh, wait. Now you starting to see some wind because you starting to see a bunch of confusion rust up around your relationships and this, that, and the other stuff. But you ain't seeing the rain of blessings that you've been hearing about. But you forget that even when Elijah told the runner to go check for the rain, he had to go check for it. It didn't just show up. He had to keep checking for it and keep checking for it. Why was he being told to check for it? Because there was obviously going to be some form of evidence. You always checked when you started to see a shaking. It's like, oh, it's a shaking. That means something must be coming and something still ain't come yet. And you're like, where is it? No wind, no rain. You done checked 5, 6, 7 times. But you have to understand, some of y'all haven't received it because you ain't ready to gird your loins up and take off running yet. If God gave it to you now, you wouldn't be able to run at the pace you would need in order to make it back to the location in which you were supposed to make it to in order to receive your blessing. Because remember, Elisha had to go run past the speed of a chariot to get back to the other town. Some of y'all, there's a location y'all got to go when God says, all right, ready, set, okay, go. There's someplace you got to run to. God's already showed me my location. He constantly reminds me of it as much as he reminds me of my God-ordained spouse in this marriage. Some of y'all got a place y'all got to go. Isaac and Rebecca. And you got to listen to that. You got to prepare. And some of y'all are disgruntledly not preparing because I told you this before. Your heart is set on the fact that you have a relationship with God, and God has made your relationship so connected during this season. And because of that connection, you're kind of like, I'm loving on God. God is close to me. Yes, I'm loving on this. And God's saying, when I give you to your spouse, the relationship and the comfort that you have had with me in this season, you're not going to have it as easily in that one. Because you're going to have to deal with your spouse. Children are going to come into the picture. Management of the house is going to come into the picture. Management of your kids is going to come into the picture. Then you're going to have the things in which I've told you to put your hands to. And then you're going to literally need to make time for me. Just like you would make time for your husband and you'd make time for your children, you're going to have to make that time. Right now, you've had the freedom to have me to yourself for this period. You're not going to have that. You're going to have to choose a schedule. You're going to have to make time. Get up earlier than your spouse. Yeah, the sacrifice is the fact that you decided to sacrifice sleep to get up before your spouse got up, to go make coffee, to turn on some worship music down in your living room, to worship and praise, to listen to your ministry, to sit and read your Bible or something like that and drink your coffee or what have you, to have your moment. I used to have breakfast with the Lord. Sometimes we go to IHOP for $5. Maybe you're not going to go to IHOP for $5. Maybe you're going to get up before your spouse get up and you're going to sit and have your cup of tea or your cup of coffee before your spouse gets up. And while he's in the shower, you're going to have your time worshiping and spending time with the Lord. You're going to have to make that time so that you can hear him. Maybe you're going to have to put an earpiece in your ear and listen to the word for an hour in the morning while you're getting yourself together. Maybe you're going to have to go in your prayer room at 4 o'clock and your husband gets up at 5 o'clock. When your husband gets up, that's when you go down and you start making breakfast, depending on what your husband's schedule is. But you're doing all of that to set the pace and the balance of your day. Reading the word, listening to the word, praying, worshiping, praising, spending that time. Maybe your husband's out of town. You can spend that time in the presence of the Lord for that day or two, or if he's gone for a week or 2 weeks. But now you have kids. How are you covering your kids in that time frame? Think about it.